प्राणाय घनाघन सप्तच कल्लन गुणान्नवश वन्दे गुरश्रीचरणनारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरश्रीचरणनारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरश्रीचरणनारविन्दम् साक्षाद्धरितेन समस्तशास्त्रैः युक्तस्तथा भावत एव सद्भिः साक्षाद्धरितेन समस्तशास्त्रैः युक्तस्तथा भावत एव सद्भिः एव तस्य वन्दे गुरश्रीचरणनारविन्दम् तो प्रभो च प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरश्रीचरणनारविन्दम् संसारधामार्णललितलोक प्राणाय पारिण घनाघनत्यम् सकलन गुणार्णवश वन्दे गुरश्रीचरणनारविन्दम् Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to the members of the Prabhupada Disciples Association, Hare Krishna Society worldwide. And we want to thank you, all of you faithful members who attend these weekly programs on Thursdays. Please remember it's a Thursday evening for Chaitanya Charitamrita reading and discussion. And Saturday, Bhagavad Gita as it is, the unedited version. And Sunday, Srimad Bhagavatam from the Delhi Bhagavatams, which we love so much because these are explanations of the truth without any change. And Prabhupada said, and I've mentioned this on many occasions, that Prabhupada was being glorified for his work in changing people's lives. And people were saying, oh, you've created so many miracles. Of course, it is a miracle when people from the West who have no prior experience in spiritual life become enlightened. They come from darkness into light, the sun rays, the light of truth. And truth is really what we all joined this movement for. I know in 1971, when I joined the mission, it was all about truth. It wasn't about position. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about fame. No, none of these things. It was all about finding out what was the real purpose of life. What is the purpose of life? And that can only be understood when you get the association, Rupesh, of a bona fide spiritual master, someone who is truly enlightened, and not by the association of people who pose, and pretend to be spiritual leaders when they're not. It's very interesting these days how social media works. And I want you to know that I do operate, and with a small group of us, our PDA a social media page. And within the last week, myself personally, I've had over 15,000 views of the posts that I put up. 15,000. Yes. So people are interested as well in the truth. They want to know the truth, and we do present the truth without adulteration in social media, which is a tool. We're dovetailing this tool. Everyone uses it, and we use it to promote the truth about Prabhupada's legacy, about the sins that have been created by his disciples to change his books, the sins that have been created by his disciples to accept their own disciples as they're acting as Diksha gurus when they're not. You have to be a Uttama Adhikari. You have to be appointed by the bona fide spiritual master. Prabhupada never appointed anyone, and he had none of these people are Uttama Adhikari. None of them. They're Sahajyas. That's a fact. Sahajya means pretender, a fake. And this is unfortunate. And so I put this post up this morning. Someone else had put these quotes up, and I thought, this is very good. I've been reading from them. Mother Rochisha in Montreal, I've been reading from them, as you know, and we've been discussing them over, for years. So it's not something we're new to, but I want it. There's an amazing reaction to it. Already within less than an hour, we have over 500 views. So this particular post should hit 3, 4, 5, 6,000 views within a couple of days. And I'll read the post to you for so you can see where we're at currently in our use of social media to broadcast truth. Some people, here it is, some people in ISKCON think we are offensive when we post information that are proven facts that the current ISKCON gurus are pretending to be Uttama Adhikari Diksha gurus. That's like fighting words, eh, Vishwa? Well, it is kind of a fratricidal war, isn't it? They have elected over 160 of such people. Like Giriraj Prabhu, he's no longer a sannyasi, that's a farce. And Bhakti Vidyapurna, the pedophile who's living in Finland hiding and still walks around in sannyas clothes. So, come on, how ridiculous this is. Yet people defend them. Who have acted in such a way that they have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt what we say about them is true. They've proved it. If a man is a thief, and if people are warned that he is a thief, that is truth. Here Prabhupada explains how this is fact-finding, not fault-finding. And this is from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 4 and 5, the opulence of the absolute. And I've read this before, I'll read it again. Satyam, truthfulness, means that facts should be presented as they are for the benefit of others. Facts should not be misrepresented. according to social conventions. It is said that one can speak the truth only when it is palatable to others. That's, in many cases, it's compromise, everyone. Like Rameshwar, he's a compromised person. Yeah, used to be a devotee. He's not anymore. He's offensive. The truth should be spoken in a straight and forward way so that others will understand actually what the facts are. If a man is a thief, and if people are warned that he is a thief, that is truth. Follow the logic, everyone? Although sometimes the truth is unpalatable, one should not refrain from speaking it. Truthfulness demands that the facts be presented as they are for the benefit of others. Benefit of others. That is the definition of truth. Definition. Speak the truth, everyone. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. Nothing can harm us. Here is a quote from Prabhupada in 1972 in Honolulu, Hawaii. Prabhupada, no, to criticize means, of course, you are preaching. This is Prabhupada speaking, not Vishvakarma Dasa. We have to show the real truth, and that is not criticizing. Yashodanandana Prabhu does not criticize. It is just like if you call a thief, Prabhupada says. If you call a thief, is that a lie? If you point out this man is a thief, this is not criticizing. No, it's not. If I warn, don't mix with Gaura Sundar, he's one of our god brothers, and he committed a crime of stealing from ISKCON. Prabhupada's explaining, he is a thief. And suppose he is a thief, is it criticizing? We are saying this is the path of yoga system. Those that blaspheme us, I made this small comment, for telling the truth, beware of the karmic consequences. You want to call us the liars, you want to call us cheaters, blasphemers, you want to banish us, you want to defame us, which people do. Oh yeah, there's constant campaign. I never claimed, or we don't claim, we're any kind of great devotees. We're actually just humble servants. We've made mistakes. I've made so many mistakes. Unfortunately, I'm trying to rectify my mistakes, yes. And we do chant our rounds. We do study critically the books. And we do associate with like-minded disciples, those who are Prabhupada disciples. I tell people that don't like, who say to me, you're a fault finder. I tell them, well, go and associate with Radhanath. Go ahead. Go away. Leave us alone. Birds of the same feather flock together. Go away. Stay away. And you get the results of your own karma for blaspheming us. That's reality. So these are some thoughts at this opening of this program for you to contemplate, everyone. Just think about what's going on here. There is the destruction of Prabhupada's legacy that has gone on in front of our very eyes by people like Radhanath. This person is extremely poisonous and should be avoided at every situation. Radhanath, he writes these bogus books. He does all kinds of nonsense, and nobody says anything because they're afraid. Well, you've met a group that's not afraid, and if you don't like it, go listen to him. See if you get inspired. That's okay. He's got some kind of podcast. That's all right. We're not looking for followers. We're looking for people that are committed to protecting Prabhupada's legacy, period. So thank you very much, everyone. We'll move forward, and we're studying carefully the diaries of Srila Prabhupada, which are so inspiring for us to study critically. Now, some people may not understand it. Of course, they don't understand what a great man does because they never did anything either. But fortunately for all of us, we've done different things and we understand what greatness is. And when you read his diaries, you see truly what a great man is. And Prabhupada is beyond greatness. He is the transcendental ambassador in real time, beyond time and space, of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is the truth of the matter. And on Tuesday, April 19th, 1966, we go back in time together and with our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. And the sunrise, he writes, was 5:10 a.m. Sunset was 6:50 p.m. and moonrise, 4:57. Amavasya today. I went to see Dr. J.K. Banerjee, but he was not in his office. I left on his table the matter for press report, no letter received. So Prabhupada was in correspondence all the time, tracking letters he sends out and received. His expenditure was bus fare 45 cents. So that's 3 rides on the bus, everyone. 15 cents each. Wednesday, April 20th, 1966. Sunrise was 5:08 a.m. Sunset was 6:51 p.m. and moonrise was 6:48 p.m. Pratipada. Paid Paul $1 for expenditure. Today I took my meals at Dr. Mishra's place. I took back the TR and tried the typewriter and tried for its repair without any success. Expenditure for bus fare again was 45 cents. Evening meeting at 7 to 9 p.m. Now he was giving dissertations. And only 4 persons attended. Not very successful in a relative sense. The collection was $4. No money either. Nobody's really giving anything. They don't really get it. On Thursday, April 21st, sunrise was 5:06 a.m., sunset was 6:52 p.m., and moonrise was 7:58. Dwitya bus fare was 30 cents, paid Paul $2, and the expenditure was $2.30. Prabhupada's paying to live at the Bowery with this Paul fellow. Friday, April 22nd, sunrise 5:05 a.m., sunset 6:53 p.m., moonset 9:09. Tritiya bus fare was 45 cents, paid Paul $1.10, and expenditure was $1.45. In the evening, 5 gentlemen attended. Their contribution was $4. So despite no money, he was sure to pay $1 a day minimum to Paul for his share of using the loft. In the Bowery, Saturday on the 23rd of April, sunrise 5:04 a.m., sunset 6:55 p.m., moonset 10:20, Chaturthi, paid Paul $2, bus fare 15 cents, and the expenditure was $2.15. No income here. Again, I went to Ananda Ashram at noon. Mr. Mishra paid all my expenses for going. Prabhupada was doing the kirtan there. Sunday. So it's Sunday. It's moving along here. Time is flying. April 24th, 1966, everyone. Sunrise, 5:02 a.m., 5:56 p.m. was the moon sets, 11:31, Panchami. Today I remained the whole day at the Ananda Ashram, came back in the evening. Paul was not in the apartment. He was probably out doing LSD. Expenditure, bus fare, 15 cents. Received 2 letters at 72nd, one from Vrindavan and the other the Secretary President. So Prabhupada had moved over to the Bowery. He was picking up his mail. Talked with Miss Sulong Richter, 893 Lincoln Road, Brooklyn. And he gives her phone number. So he's preaching, he's organizing. Monday, April 25th, another start to the week. Sunrise was 5 a.m. Sunset was 6:57. Shasti. I went to see Mr. Bogart. He was not in the office, but his assistant was given a note to contact Pitcher. Saw the Marine office. Free pass for Paul denied. Came back and settled to postpone. Returned back trip to India. One letter received from Tirtha Maharaj, bypassing his responsibility as promised by him. This is his godbrother. So he's bypassing his responsibility.
Phone ಮಾಡು ಅವನು ಬರಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳು.
Okay, Prabhu, please turn your mic off. Yeah, Tirtha Maharaj letter also replied, he should honestly execute his promise. I have no objection if he corresponds directly with Sri Padampat. Expenditure of bus fare was 30 cents. An evening meeting held, contribution of income was $4.60. 1 hour clock enhanced. So he's keeping track of daylight savings time. Tuesday, April 22nd, sunrise 5:08 a.m., sunset 6:19, moonset 11 minutes after midnight. Saptami, today I did not go out. Paul paid for expenditures $5. No income to income of books, $5. On Wednesday, the 27th, the sunrise was 5:06 a.m., keeping track, sunset 6:50, moonset 1:07 a.m., Astami. Today, whole day, I did not go out. Again, he did not go out. One letter sent to Srimati Sumati Marajji. Love that name. Requesting to allow free passage for Paul. Evening, there was a meeting with 6 ladies and a gentleman attended, and the income was $5. Thursday, the 28th of April, sunrise was 5:05, sunset 6:51, moonset 1:52. Navami, expenses paid Paul $1. Doesn't miss his rent. Today I brought all things from 72nd Street to Paul's loft. So he's moved out of where he got robbed. That's what's happened. He was robbed for his typewriter, his tape recorder, and his book bag. Terrible, 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 terrible. But no lamentation from Srila Prabhupada in his diary. Friday the 29th on April, sunrise 5:03, sunset 6:52, moonset 6:52. Dasami, today I met Pitcher's secretary for information, the vacating of the room. She promised a check on Tuesday afternoon, deposited with the bank $17, so he got a refund. Talked with Banerjee, he had not yet sent the report. Talked with Bogart, no news. There was a meeting with 5 gentlemen. In the evening, there was a meeting with 5 gentlemen attended, and he got a contribution of $14. And we'll end off here with April 30th. So we'll end off the whole month of April here. Sunrise 5:20, sunset 6:53, moonset 3:02. Love that Prabhupada's marking his time that way. Ekadasi today, both Paul and self-observed Ekadasi in the afternoon. We both went to Ananda Ashram. The expenditure was $5. And we passed the night at Ananda Ashram. So I don't see our May here in this book. Oh, I see, because it is May. We'll end at April. very interesting pace to Prabhupada's writings here in the diary. Very early writings and very revealing about his character, his personality, and his commitment, and his seriousness in spreading Krishna consciousness. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We'll move forward with the chanting of Radha Madhava, Jai Radha Madhava, by Srila Prabhupada, and then we look forward to our Srimad Bhagavatam reading and discussion being led by His Grace, Yashodanandana Prabhu, my wonderful godbrother, our wonderful godbrother, and we're so blessed to have this opportunity to be a part of the Prabhupada Disciples Association, Hare Krishna Society presentations, and please tell other people to join us if they feel so motivated. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Sai. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. परमार्थ भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद से अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskritya Narayanam namaskritya Naram cheva narottamam Naram cheva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyāsam Tato Jayam Mudirayat. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Srila Vyāsadeva, the author, from Srimad Bhagavatam 1-4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. As we do every week, we'll be reciting a few selected verses from the first canto, second chapter, describing the meaning and the importance and benefit of hearing this powerful transcendental literature, Srimad Bhagavatam. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 15. Yadanudhyasina yuktaha karmagranti nibandhanam chindanti kovidastasya kona kuryat kataratim. Intelligent persons do cut off the internet of the knot of reactionary work by remembrance of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not give attention to his message? Text 16. Shushrushoho sradadhanasya vasudeva kataruchihi syan mahat sevaya vipra punyatirtanishivanat. O the twice-born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all ranges of vice, a standard of great service is done. And as the result of such great service, affinity in the messages of Vasudeva is made possible. Srinvatam svakata krishnaham punyasravana kirtanaham hridyantas Hyabadrani vidhunoti suritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is also the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, does cleanse the desire for material enjoyment in the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge for hearing his, Krishna's messages which are themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashtaprayeshu bhadrishu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in the Bhagavatam class or rendering service unto the pure devotees, all that is inauspicious in the heart of a candidate becomes destroyed almost to nil, and thus loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, comes into being an irrevocable fact. Tadarajastamo bhava kamalo bhadayaschaye chetayeterana viddam stitam sattve prasidati. As soon as irrevocable loving service is fixed up in one's heart, at that time the effects of the nature's mode of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankerings, etc., do disappear from one's heart, and he becomes fixed up in the mode of goodness, which makes him completely happy. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavad tata vijnanam mukta sangasya jayati. Thus, when one is positively fixed up in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the enlivened-minded man affected by contact of devotional service of the Lord can positively know scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Vidyate hridaya grantis Siddhyante sarva samshaya shiyante chasya karmani drishta evatmanishwari. The knot of one's heart is thus pierced, and all misgivings are cut into pieces. The chain of fruitive actions are terminated along with the seeing of oneself, the dominating factor. We will proceed with our reading. This reading is being conducted from the original 1962 New Delhi edition of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first volume. All synonyms, translation, and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. We are reading from Canto 1, Chapter 5, text number 34. Evam nrinam kriya yogaha sarve samsriti hetabaha taivatma vinashaya kalpante kalpitah pare. Evam, thus, nrinam, of the human being, kriya yogaha, all activities, sarve, everything, samsriti, material existence, etava, causes, ta, that, eva, certainly, atma, the tree of work, vinashaya, killing, kalpante, become competent, kalpita, dedicated, pare, unto the transcendence. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Thus, when all activities of the human being becomes dedicated unto the service of the Lord, the activities which are causal to perpetual bondage become the killing source of the tree of work. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Fruitive work which has perpetually engaged a living being in growing the tree of work, as it is compared with a banyan tree in the Bhagavad Gita, is certainly very much deep-rooted. So long the propensity for enjoying the fruit of work is there, one has to continue the condition of transmigration of the soul from one body or place to another body, or place according to one's nature of work. The propensity for enjoyment may be turned into the desire for serving the mission of the Lord. By doing so, one's activity is changed into karma yoga, or the way by which one can attain spiritual perfection, even being engaged in his work for which he has a natural tendency. Here, the word Atma indicates the categories of all fruitive work. The conclusion is that when the result of all fruitive and other work is dovetailed with the service of the Lord, they will cease to generate further karma and will gradually develop into transcendental devotional service, which will not only cut off completely the root of the banyan tree of work, but also will carry the performer to the lotus feet of the Lord. The summary is that one has to first of all seek the association of pure devotees who are not only learned in the Vedantas, but also self-realized souls and unalloyed devotees of Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. In that association, the neophyte devotees must render loving service physically and mentally without any reservation. This service attitude of the neophyte will induce the great souls more to be favorable for bestowing their mercy, which infects the neophyte with all the transcendental qualities of such pure devotees. Gradually, this is developed into the strong attachment for hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, which makes him able to catch up the constitutional position of the two gross and subtle bodies, and beyond them is the knowledge of pure soul and his eternal relation with the Supreme Soul, the personality of Godhead. After the relation is ascertained by establishment of the eternal relation, pure devotional service of the Lord begins gradually developing into perfect knowledge of the personality of Godhead, beyond the purview of impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma. By such Purushottama Yoga, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, one is made perfect even during the present corporal existence, exhibiting all the good qualities of the Lord to the highest percentage. These are the gradual development by association of pure devotees. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanashalakayam Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhakti Vedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Bhagavad Vandanam Khadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sarkara Yuktam Kadati Visheshataham Adadana Srinam Danteridam Yachi Punaha Punaha Srimadrupa Padam Bhoja Durishyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavatusmyaham Sadadasu Asmi Saravatam Tat Kripa Pikshako Nityam Tat Prishta Satkaromisvam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In this section of Srimad Bhagavatam, we see that Vyāsadeva, Nārada Muni, is telling Vyāsadeva the explanation of the science of bhakti, the systematic progress on a path of devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada is nicely explaining this. Sometimes it is called Kriya Yoga or Karma Yoga. And in the same purport, Prabhupada explains it is also called the Purushottama Yoga. In other words, this is the systematic process of developing our relationship with Krishna. We see in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srimad Bhagavatam, the same process is very nicely explained. In the Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Das Kaviraj, this is chapter 22, text number 53. Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 22, text 53. It is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, chapter 5, text 32. Canto 7, chapter 5, text 32. Nesham matistabadaru kramangrim sprishatya narta pagamo yadartaha mahiyasam padarajo bhishekam nishkinchananam narabrinita yavat. Unless human society accepts the dust of the lotus feet of great Mahatmas, devotees who have nothing to do with material possessions, mankind cannot turn its attention to the lotus feet of Krishna. Those lotus feet vanquish all the unwanted, miserable conditions of material life. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This verse appears in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.32. When the great sage Nārada was giving instructions to Maharaja Yudhishthira, he narrated the activities of Prahlad Maharaja. This verse was spoken by Prahlad Maharaj to his father Hiranyakashipu, the king of the demons. Prahlad Maharaj informed his father of the 9 basic processes of bhakti yoga. Whoever takes to these processes is to be considered a highly learned scholar. Hiranyakashipu, however, did not like his son to talk about devotional service. Therefore, he immediately called his teacher Sandamarka. The teacher explained that he did not teach devotional service to Prahlad, but that the boy was naturally inclined that way. At that time, Hiranyakashipu became very angry and asked Prahlad why he had become a Vaishnava. In answer to this question, Prahlad Maharaj recited this verse to the effect that one cannot become the Lord's devotee without receiving the mercy and blessings of another devotee. And what's interesting about this is when we go to the next verse in the same chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a very nice famous verse that Prabhupada used to often quote, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastrakai, Lava Matra, Sadhu Sange, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. The meaning of that verse means the verdict of all revealed scriptures is that even by a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success. Purport: according to astronomical calculations, lava is 1/11th of 1 second. Now, that is not a very long time. We see that in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are numerous verses which recommend that one should associate with devotees, with self-realized devotees. Here in this particular verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's mentioned 1/11th of a second, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangi. Just like we do know that Srila Prabhupada, anytime he came to an airport, there would be these amazing receptions and departure. Prabhupada would come to the airport at least 3 hours before the departure of his flights. He would sit, and when he would arrive at the airport, there would be these beautiful kirtans in the airport, much to the consternation and dismay of airport officials and cleaning people, because devotees would throw flower petals, rice, and all kinds of things. But it was an amazingly blissful experience of seeing Srila Prabhupada come out of the airplane, come out in the hallways and greet the devotees. This was very special. And for many people in the crowd, they got to see Srila Prabhupada probably for 1/11 of a second, very little time. In 1970 in Los Angeles, this was during the month of August, when Srila Prabhupada left Los Angeles for Tokyo. There was a very interesting sequence where Srila Prabhupada gave a little lecture talking about the importance of Vani over Vapu association. And Prabhupada held a very nice large gardenia garland, white garland, which was very fragrant because you could smell that garland from many, many feet away, from many yards away. And what happened is Prabhupada, before he departed on the plank leading to the airport, he turned around and he blessed the devotees. Blessing in the Vedic system is like this, putting the hand like this, giving the blessing. And one flower, one or two gardenia flowers fell from the garland. So as Prabhupada turned his back and walked, we all offered obeisances. And at that point, I was very close to these flowers. So I put my hand on the flower. And all of a sudden, I felt a very strong hand right on top of my hand while bowing down. I was thinking, who's that? It was Corandar. Corandar laughed. He says, not so fast. You make sure you give me half that flower. That flower had been touched by Prabhupada's lotus feet. The point here is that the association of a pure devotee, even though it is very small, a few seconds, a part of a second. Here in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada defines it as 1/11 of a second. Because many of these people in the airport, Prabhupada was just walking. They didn't get the chance to speak with him or listen to a whole lecture or ask him questions. He was here and he was gone. But they got the association. They're eternally benefited. You know, as part of these reading and discussions, sometimes there are certain remarks that we made in observations regarding certain devotees and the way they behave. And we have come under attack by certain people saying, well, you people are criticizing. You people are offending devotees. You should not talk like this. You should not talk like that. Well, let's face this. This platform that we have here is meant for discussion. That group over there does not allow discussion. It was not allowed at any time since 1978. The minute they came out the gate, their attitude was, there is nothing to discuss. We have decided everything, and they, meaning all of us peasants, should just accept. They should just accept some kind of communist-style dictatorship. No, this is not how Srila Prabhupada envisioned his society. Prabhupada wanted a Brahminical, cool-headed society where people would read his books and discuss everything from all angles of vision. No secret talks, no political nonsense behind the scene. This was not Prabhupada's idea. This was not Srila Prabhupada's style of management. We read in these verses that Rupesh Prabhu displayed on the screen that one should hear the Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of devotees and discuss the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. Did they really discuss with all the temple presidents, all the devotees, all the Sankirtan leaders, everything that Prabhupada had said in 1977? No, they kept it hidden. And then they sprung their big surprise. Oh, we have been appointed as Prabhupada's successors. Oh, really? When did that happen? And a few months later, when some of us started to ask questions, relevant questions, pertinent questions about when this appointment took place, why there were so many changes in the society that Srila Prabhupada had started, they didn't want to discuss. Their attitude is, we're in charge, we're in power, and you should just follow what we say. But when the argument was placed before them, by the way, in a very respectful, cool-headed way, that Srila Prabhupada never introduced any of these new practices you've done here, new pranam mantras, new guru pujas, new pictures on the altar, new all different kinds of new things that Prabhupada did not discuss in the last few months of his manifested presence with us. Their reply was, well, we're in charge. Prabhupada told us to manage the society, and you people are envious, and you should just accept. Oh, I see. So rather than answer relevant questions, the outlandish accusation of being envious came out. Really? Well, discussing spiritual topics is not a manifestation of envy. As a matter of fact, it's a manifestation of intelligence. Now, in my case, I'm not very intelligent, but in the case of Pradyumna Panditji, he was highly intelligent. He was bringing up very relevant, important topics for the affairs of the society and the future of the society. How did they deal with it? They kicked him out. They drove him away, threatened him, took his service away. Because several times I've been asked by different devotees, why didn't Pradyumna finish the Bhagavatam? Prabhupada, it was known that Prabhupada, although there's no record of this, it was known that Srila Prabhupada requested Pradyumna to finish the translation of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srila Prabhupada told him to translate the commentaries of the great acharyas on the Srimad Bhagavatam, such as the commentaries of Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, Vijayadvav Tirtha of the Madhva Sampradaya, Veera Raghava Acharya of the Ramanuja Sampradaya, and numerous other Vaishnavacharyas. What did they do? Because they could not answer the various points that he raised, they drove him away. They kicked him out along with numerous other devotees. Is this the Brahminical style of discussion? Is this sadhu sangha? Is this when Prabhupada said that his disciples should read his books and discuss everything from all angles of vision? Is this that their idea of all angles of vision, to kick people out? We have practically seen that some of these leaders threatened to kill some devotees if they kept discussing these important topics of what Prabhupada meant by initiations, how he wanted initiations to be conducted in his society. He gave specific instructions which were not allowed to be discussed, and these conversations thoroughly, openly, for almost 10 years. This has been documented. Meanwhile, all kinds of falsehoods, lies, prevarications, nonsensical behaviors took place. Various peoples were driven away from Prabhupada's society, all because of the personal ambition of some ambitious persons. In Krishna consciousness, there's no room for personal ambition. Now, some people may say, well, what is the use of discussing this? Because it's never been resolved. The posing and posturing is still ongoing. Prabhupada's position, it's still not been reestablished. These various individuals had the gall and audacity in public records in Washington, District of Columbia, USA, in the United States Copyright Office, to make a statement that Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, was a worker for hire, like he was an employee of their corporation. Oh, really? The pure devotee Shakti-Avatar has become your employee? How did that happen? How did that happen? This is the height of delusion, the height of insanity. And these people are still around posturing every day. They still have the audacity to put their pictures on Prabhupada's altars after publicly insulting him, publicly blaspheming him for so many years, and they're still claiming to have been appointed as his successors. Now, this is the difference between sadhu sangha and non-sadhu sangha. If one carefully hears from authorized sources, one will come to the right conclusion. But if one hears from non-authorized sources, it's guaranteed he will be bewildered, like those foolish people who placed this nonsense blasphemy in the records in Washington, D.C. Not only are they bewildered, but they're furthering their bewilderment with their nonsense ideas. No one should ever listen to these non-authorized people. They do not represent Prabhupada. They do not represent Lord Chaitanya. They do not represent this bona fide sampradaya, and they're not authorized Vaishnavacharyas. Thank you very much. To whom it may concern. Hare Krishna.
Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. So much confusion, everyone, due to misinformation based on personal motivations of certain individuals. This is unfortunate. And somehow or other, it's entered into the mission. And as Nilesh Sharma was saying, it's become a society of cheaters and the cheated. So this is just tragic, really. And I wanted to go today again to the verse purport from text 34. I thought there was something very revealing here in the purport for us. And I'll read in it. It's just at the end of the purport. And Prabhupada's talking about the gradual development of pure devotional service. It is a gradual process. It's not something that is like instant coffee. You just put the water in and you add the crystals and you've got a drink. Life is not, in spiritual life, it's not gradual or it's not instantaneous. It's a gradual process, especially for all of us from the West, we're not born in a Vaishnava family, but we're being trained. So Prabhupada says here, gradually this is developed into a strong attachment for hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, which will make him able to catch up the constitutional position of the two gross and subtle bodies, and beyond them is the knowledge of pure soul and his eternal relationship with the Supreme Soul, the personality of Godhead. After the relationship is ascertained by establishment of the eternal relation, pure devotional service of the Lord begins gradually developing into perfect knowledge of the personality of Godhead, beyond the purview of impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma. By such Purushottama Yoga, it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, one is made perfect. Here's the key here, everyone. even during the present corporal existence, exhibiting all the good qualities of the Lord to the highest percentage. These are the gradual development by association of a pure devotee. So Prabhupada's explaining here that it is possible to become situated in the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, even while you're living in this material body. And I wanted to go back to 1971 in Hamilton, Ontario here, where this the first Hamilton temple was started. A couple of devotees came from Buffalo and took up the service here in Hamilton. They thought, or they perceived that there were a lot of people, especially our group. We had a small-time famous band here in Hamilton and somewhat of a large following back then. And so we had a house that we were, back then people got houses after they moved out of their house. And our band had a house near my house here in Hamilton, incidentally now. And we had people coming around who were following us because we had fans, thousands of fans actually. And my friend Uttama Shloka who joined, we all joined together. He had got the Bhagavad Gita. A fellow Vishnu Dutt had taken the Bhagavad Gita from McMaster Library and brought it to our house. And Uttama Shloka started to read the Gita and make notes, and he became infatuated with it. And he thought, I have to teach this to everybody. I think he was 18 years old at the time. And then they decided, then he met the devotees and decided, I'll invite the devotees to live at Vishwakarma's house. So these people showed up at my house. I had to move out. I wasn't interested in becoming a devotee. But eventually things turned around, and somehow or other I have to say this, Prabhu Pirangelo, I was dragged into Krishna consciousness. I don't know. I was just meant to be. And as a result, 18 people from Hamilton became Prabhupada disciples, initiated by Srila Prabhupada. This city alone, 18. And it was all because of their being involved with us back then. And so in July of 1971, they had turned the house into a temple. And I joined the Sankirtan party. I shaved my head, gave up my Fender Precision 1967 blonde neck Precision, which these days is worth $30,000, and gave the money to Dharmaraj to pay for the rent. There's an interesting story about that, how I ended up in jail because of that. But at any rate, we went down to Detroit, and Yashodananda had spoken about we went in a truck. And we all packed into the vehicle and drove down to Detroit because Prabhupada was coming to Detroit. I had been in the temple for 6 months. And so it was decided I would get initiated. Okay, fantastic. And we went down to Detroit, and Detroit, they had a temple on Jefferson Avenue that Bhagawan had opened and was running. And so we got there and we made the preparations before Prabhupada came. It was like a great, celebration that the pure devotee was coming. We knew very little about Krishna consciousness, but we had an understanding of Prabhupada's position as the representative of Lord Chaitanya, the representative. And so we went to the airport the following day in the morning. Prabhupada flew in to the international airport there, and it was like Yashodananda was saying, it was like an explosion of activity at the airport. It was a shock for most people. I think there was over 200 devotees that came from New York and Chicago and all the around Cleveland and all the different places. And we all came to the airport to meet Prabhupada. And somehow or other, when Prabhupada came out, we all just were cheering, and we were all weeping mostly. All the devotees were in this ecstasy. I think it was based more on sincerity of purpose. Everybody was very, very, all these people were very serious about finding out about the truth. And they realized that Prabhupada was the ambassador from Krishna, that he was not an ordinary person. That was the mentality. Everybody felt that. I know when I was standing in the crowd when Prabhupada came out, and he was sitting on the Vyāsadeva, they had built a asana in the airport, that I was reluctant even to look at him. I thought, I'm too fallen to even to look at Prabhupada. I don't have the qualifications to be here. And then I still remember this visit vividly. I was thinking, well, this is kind of stupid of me. I mean, I should at least look at Prabhupada and see what a pure devotee was like. And I looked, finally I made a decision, okay, I'm going to look. And I popped my head up and I looked at Srila Prabhupada. And it was the first time I'd ever seen somebody drink water from a cup without touching it to his lips. This was a brand new thing for me. And Prabhupada had the cup of water, and he poured it like a silver stream into his throat without touching his lips. And as I looked at that, I saw in my own neophyte state a person that was not part of this material world. I could see it. A very vivid realization. And Prabhupada says here in the purport, one is made perfect even during the present corporal existence, exhibiting all the good qualities of the Lord to the highest percentage. That was Srila Prabhupada. Not this body, but the eternal servant of his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The eternal servant of Lord Chaitanya. And in this way, this energy, transcendental energy, was affecting all of us, everyone in that airport. It was a truly tremendous transcendental experience that we were all blessed with, yes. Now someone could say, well, how is that possible? Well, you had to be there. That's basically it. Of course, nowadays, we're presenting the literature of Srila Prabhupada like these purports, and this is the same experience for all of us. Yes, that we're experiencing, that Prabhupada lives with us in sound vibration. He's living with us. He is. And for those people who are serious about this process of spiritual life, they are blessed with the Vani incarnation of our spiritual master, A.C., his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This material world is Asat, Achit, and Nirananda. That's all we knew. And Prabhupada introduced to us Sat, Chit, Ananda, that we are eternal, we are full of knowledge, and we are full of happiness, bliss. Yes, we are. And Nicho Nichananam Chaitanas Chaitananam Eko Yo Bahuda Vadati Kaman. This is the constitutional position of all of us. That we are Jivara Swarup Ahoy Krishnera Nityadasa. We are the eternal servants of the spiritual master, the liberated soul, that we're blessed to have the opportunity to serve. We're asking people in our group, please step up and help us to produce these shows, to produce the books, to promote this message to other people, to help them in their journey also back home, back to Godhead by association with Srila Prabhupada. Yes, this is a reality. And this is something that we can all be thankful for. This is an opportunity. An opportunity comes very rarely, as Yashodanandana Prabhu was explaining. Even if you get 1 second of association with the pure devotee. And for myself, I was blessed. I did have Prabhupada on my head, his feet on my head. I won't talk about that today. I did get a chance to have, on multiple occasions, his remnants of prasadam. Maha prasadam. Yes, very fortunate. And I'm still alive and able to do some service, so I'm blessed to have this chance, and I appreciate it very much. And we thank all of you for being a part of this effort to protect his legacy. Yashodanandana Prabhu, please, if you could continue.
Here we go. I want to read a section from Chaitanya Charitamrita. I had a discussion recently with a devotee who was having some questions about certain activities that certain groups affiliated or previously affiliated with ISKCON are engaged. And this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 19, text 152. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 19, text 152. This is the chapter where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing Rupa Goswami about devotional service. The text is Malihan karese bijaropan, Shravan kirtana jale karasechan. When a person received the seed of devotional service, he should take care of it by becoming a gardener and sowing the seed in his heart. If he waters the seed gradually by the process of Shravan and Kirtana, hearing and chanting, the seed will begin to sprout. When we look into the second paragraph, Prabhupada said, the word Guru Prasada indicate that the spiritual master is very merciful in bestowing the boon of devotional service upon the disciple. That is the best possible gift the spiritual master has to offer. Those with a background of pious life are eligible to receive life's supreme benefit and to bestow this benefit. The Supreme Personality of Godhead sends his representative to impart his mercy. Endowed with the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the spiritual master distributes the mercy to those who are elevated and pious. Thus, the spiritual master trains his disciples to render devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called Guru Kripa. It is Krishna Prasada, Krishna's mercy, that he sends a bona fide spiritual master to the deserving disciple. By the mercy of Krishna, one meets the bona fide spiritual master, and by the mercy of the spiritual master, the disciple is fully trained in devotional service of the Lord. Bhakti Lata Bij means the seed of devotional service. Everything has an original cause or seed. For any idea, program, plan, or device, there is first of all the contemplation of the plan. and that is called bija, or the seed. The methods, rules, and regulations by which one is perfectly trained in devotional service constitutes the Bhaktilata Bij, or seed of devotional service. This Bhaktilata Bij is received from the spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. Other seeds are called Anya Bilasa Bij, Karma Bij, and Jnana Bij. And pay attention here. If one is not fortunate enough to receive the Bhaktilata Bij from the spiritual master, he instead cultivates the seeds of Karma Bij, Jnana Bij, or political and social or philanthropic Bij. However, Bhaktilata Bij is different from these other Bijas. Bhaktilata Bij can be received only through the mercy of the spiritual master. Therefore, one has to satisfy the spiritual master to get Bhaktilata Bij. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasadaha. Bhaktilata Bij is the origin of devotional service. Unless one satisfies the spiritual master, he gets the bij or root cause of karma, jnana, and yoga without the benefit of devotional service. However, one who is faithful to his spiritual master gets the Bhaktilata Bij. And Prabhupada goes on like this. The point is, we see practically from a historical perspective that many persons who came in contact with the pure devotee, Prabhupada is willing to give that Bhaktilata Bij, but by the behavior and the philosophy of some of these people, the question may be legitimately raised, which kind of bija or seed are they cultivating? Is it the social bij? Is it the political bij or philanthropic bij? You be the judge. Hare Krishna.
Yes. And it's interesting to note, Yashodanandana Prabhu, that this explanation of Guru Tattva is the key to understanding the purpose of life. There is no other way. There is no other way. The opportunity to hear the messages of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Bhagavad Gita from a pure devotee of Krishna is very rare in this universe. And so this mystery, when we speak of mystery, it's a puzzle. There's a great puzzle. And life is so complicated in a relative sense because the mind, the subtle body of the conditioned soul, can become very confused by material experiences. Just even a short life of 70 or 80 years. You look at your life and it comes to us all the time in our dreams when we're sleeping and walking around. The mind is thinking this and that. And we somehow or other get bewildered that this is me. I, me, and mine. My house, my car, my family, my money, my fame. It's all ephemeral. Doesn't exist, really. It's just a dream. It's just passing in time here. But if we have the chance or the opportunity to associate with a bona fide liberated soul, like Srila Prabhupada, we are truly blessed. Yes, we are. And we should be joyful every day. And we're also very fortunate to be a part of this program, which is, I often speak about this to all of us. Out of 168 hours a week, yes, that's how much time we have every day, every week. We have 4.5 hours we've dedicated ourselves. Some of us seem to be very committed to this. That's a sign of great seriousness. It's not a big deal. Look at when you go to university, how many hours do you spend in the class when you're studying? How many hours? When I was at university, it was so many hours. And then not only study in the class and listen to the professors, but at the same time, you had to study when you went home. And then you had your exams. You had to spend so much time studying political science and studying economics. And those were my majors at university. You study, study, study. But people think, oh, I don't have time to attend these classes. I've got an excuse to do something else. Okay, that's fair. But the best use of time is to get this association, the best use of time. And this is important. And those people that see the importance and participate in these programs with us are really the great souls that exist on this planet. And it is our job, all of us together as a group, to continue, I'll repeat it again, to protect Prabhupada's legacy by explaining to others the truth of the matter. And we're going to call upon our friend Puranjana. I believe I saw his beautiful pictures under his... Is he still with us?
Hello, Haiba.
Yeah, there he is. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhu, maybe you could make a few comments for everyone's benefit today at the discussion and reading.
Yeah, I was having a kind of an interesting discussion with a devotee in England, and he's coming to the realization that most of the devotees are basically crazy. And he was kind of making a complaint about it, that Prabhupada had accumulated a lot of crazy people, in his group. And so I said, that's true, but whatever Krishna provides, we should accept that. So and I told him that one of the people that I first met when I came to the temple was named Kanapriya, and he was like a real crazy guy. But I didn't know that because I was just a new guy. So I said, I want to join this movement. And Kanapriya says, "Well, there's no room in the temple. You can't stay here." But I wasn't supposed to ask him, and I didn't know that. He says, you need to go to San Francisco if you want to join. So, I did go to San Francisco, but the point is, he was just a crazy guy. But I just made the point, what difference does it make? If Krishna sends me a letter and a crazy person is delivering the letter, why would I complain about that? Krishna's God. If he wants to use crazy people, that's up to him. It's not my job to complain. Oh, this crazy person handed me this letter. What difference does it make? I got Krishna in the letter. That's the point. That's the real point. And so I tried to emphasize that to this person, that yes, Prabhupada just utilized what Krishna gave him. And we can't complain about what Krishna gives us. We have to be just pleased that Krishna gave us anything. If Krishna gives you anything, you have to fall on the ground crying in happiness and say, oh my God, Krishna gave me this. Who cares what the messenger was or who he is? That's not important. So I think I made that point clear to him. I think he understood it. Krishna uses all kinds of different things for his work, and he's using me for certain things. I'm one of the tools in his toolbox. So we can't complain about that. We have to accept whatever Krishna provides for us and be happy he gave us that. And I am, I'm very appreciative and I don't complain. And I also gave him the example, a bad carpenter complains about his tools. we we can't do that. We have to be good carpenters and use whatever tools Krishna gives us. So that's all. I just wanted to say that. Harry Bob.
I really like that point that you made. That's a wonderful explanation of how to receive mercy from Krishna. And it's interesting. I was discussing this Prabhus with the Shodanandana Prabhu over the last few weeks. How Prabhupada, as we're reading the diaries, we're seeing that Prabhupada, even today, in the section that Paul Murray, who was staying with Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was paying him $1 every day for his accommodation at the Bowery Loft. Prabhupada was paying $1 to him, but this person was crazy. He was on LSD, he was a young man, he didn't know who he was or what he was doing, and certainly very bewildered, but Prabhupada did the best he could with what he got. In fact, the matter is that when Prabhupada started to expand his efforts at the Matchless Gift Store, when he opened it and things started to take off. Now we're still in April discussing Prabhupada's, progress there in the diaries. So it starts to take off, and then people started to come around. It started to grow. Were these people fixed up when they came? No. Was Keith Ham a pure devotee when he showed up? No, he was actually gay. He was gay, and so was Hayagriva. They were both gay men. I think they were in a relationship of some sorts. And like that, there were all kinds of crazy people. And as it's turned out in 2024, most of these people have gone back to crazy land. They're compromised, they're confused, they're so bewildered. But did Prabhupada reject them? No. Did Prabhupada engage them in devotional service and give them an opportunity to serve the mission of Lord Chaitanya with whatever talents and abilities he saw in them that they could do? And in this way bless them with this opportunity to move forward in this human form of life? Because devotional service, Prabhus, is inexhaustible. Prabhupada explains that very clearly in his lectures and in his books, that any amount of service that's performed in this life is never lost, the benefits. And you carry that on into your next birth until you eventually get purified to the point that you go back to home, back to Godhead, to be Krishna's eternal servant in the spiritual realm. Because Krishna is more interested in taking us back than we're interested in going. Oh, yes. We've got so many excuses why we don't attend true spiritual programs, because we're busy. Oh, we're so busy. I've got so many priorities. Fortunately, many of us see this opportunity that we have as a priority. I don't like people that minimize. I don't. Personally, I don't like people that are frivolous, not very serious. And they reveal themselves by how they do things every day, how they respond. It becomes apparent by their behavior. But that's not my position to criticize or instruct them. It's up to them to internally understand what we're saying and how we hope that these people will also pick up the ball and run down the field with us in this team of people that are here to protect Prabhupada's legacy. So thank you, Paranjana, for your explanation this morning about how people, they may be crazy, but we try our best to work with them and in this way everyone gets benefit by the grace of Srila Prabhupada. Oh, I see somebody, our friend. Are you in a car or no? Are you in your car? Nilesh Sharma,
Yes,
wandering
Prabhuji. Hare
around
Krishna.
in Florida, in the universe. Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shila Prabhupada.
Jai.
I came at the end part, but it was very interesting. I have a question for Yashodanandan Prabhu.
Oh, good.
I was listening to the explanation which you gave about Bhakti Lata Beej, Jnana Beej, or Karma Beej. There is going to be some beej in our hearts, and which beej do we give precedence to? So my question to Yashodanandan Prabhu is, especially it came when Vishwakarma Prabhu was saying that he had the opportunity to have Maha Prasad from Prabhupada's remnants. So there were people where Prabhupada in his early days literally cooked for them, at 2nd Street, at Mishraji's yoga ashram. He has cooked. When he has cooked, imagine the dedication or the bhakti which is imbued into that food, which whoever the jiva was lucky enough or fortunate enough to partake in it. But if you look at it from a historical standpoint, from now that we are in the future in 2024, there were so many of Prabhupada's disciples who had, not on one occasion, but I'm sure on several occasions, to have this Mahaprasad. But look at where they are now. Why are they not following Srila Prabhupada's instruction? And why you, Vishwakarma Prabhu, Paranjana Prabhu, Dharma Bhavana Prabhu, the Prabhu from San Diego, so many of you are in this particular group and not in ISKCON. What is the distinction over here? Is it, a lot of people can boast that, yes, I've been associated with the Vapu and I've been associated with the remnants of Prabhupada. But look at the effect. There are very diagrammatically opposite effects. And what is the cause of these two different things? Why have some given the Bhakti Lata Beej the precedence, while some has given the political beej as the precedence, despite having both common backgrounds? I would love to know the viewpoint of Yashodananda Prabhu.
I think it's a matter of the desire of the devotee, the inner desire. Let's not forget why we are in this world. We came to this world, we are in this world because of the desire to imitate Krishna. We are envious of Krishna. And this envy in the material world, the utmost manifestation is envy, is to the manifestation of the disobedience and disregard and envy of the pure devotee of Krishna. So when a pure devotee of Krishna, the ambassador of Krishna, comes, he gives us mercy. Prabhupada does not discriminate between those who are faithful, those who are unfaithful, those who are pious, those who are impious, those who are listening carefully, those who are not listening carefully. Prabhupada, a pure devotee, a Paramahamsa, does not discriminate because he's giving the mercy to everyone. Now, that's important to remember. For example, in 1970, Prabhupada wrote a letter to a devotee named Ishan Prabhu. And the letter says, as soon as there is personal ambition, it is not possible to understand our Krishna conscious philosophy. And this has nothing to do with being part of ISKCON, outside of ISKCON, living in ISKCON, not living in ISKCON. Because before somebody can try to discuss this issue, somebody has to understand what is the KCON. Then we can understand what is the purpose of the IS, the International Society. Because unless somebody understands what is the KCON, he may be bewildered, even though he may be physically in a building owned by the society. Somebody may not be physically in the IS, but yet understand and practice Krishna consciousness, and he may have a very good connection with Srila Prabhupada, whether or not he got personally the Mahaprasadam or saw Prabhupada. If somebody has no other desire than sincerely and seriously, I'm using that word, seriously understand the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, then he'll get the Bhaktilata Bij. And those who have some other motivation for money, profit, adoration, distinction, name, fame, power, all of these different weeds, they'll get something else. Although they may have the dress of a devotee, they may have the tilak of a devotee, they may have the danda of a devotee. What is the inner motivation? Lord Krishna, Prabhupada, and Lord Chaitanya, they know the real score. Who is the real devotee? Who is the false devotees? Who are the social beads devotees? Who are the political beads devotees? Although by reading this kind of a purport, I've had a lot of devotees tell me it's very clear how Srila Prabhupada is analyzing those people who don't really have the Bhaktilata Bij, what they're really cultivating. It doesn't take a wizard to figure that out. Just like, for example, people sometimes say, oh, you two are always, no, we're just quoting Prabhupada and making analysis and observation on the basis of Prabhupada's statement. For example, in the ninth canto of the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada said, there are many karmis in the dress of devotees in the Krishna consciousness movement. In another place on the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are many envious persons in the Krishna consciousness movement. In another place, Prabhupada, if one thinks there are many non-devotees or pseudo-devotees in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, one can associate directly with the spiritual master. Why? Let me bring this point up. The whole society that Prabhupada started was started on three basic fundamental principles. Number one, he wrote his books. He spent the night, every single night, to write his books. Right? We're reading these diaries. Prabhupada was writing his books even then, every day. Number two, he structured the society that his disciples should study and read his books. Everybody knows Prabhupada wanted everybody to attend morning class, Srimad Bhagavatam, evening class, Bhagavad Gita. And he told devotees, besides that, you should read my books at least 1 to 2 hours a day. Okay, so Prabhupada wrote the books, told us to study the books. And number three, he structured his society to engage devotees in distributing those people that had received the knowledge in his books to go out and help to distribute these books. Everything has become derailed by some motivated persons who did not quietly understand Prabhupada's books and who started to change the teachings in his books to rationalize their nonsense ideas. For example, after Prabhupada departed, some misleaders in that society started to propagate the idea that now we have to start all these gimmicks, bumper stickers, baseball hats, rock and roll records, Korean oil painting, all kinds of gimmicks for a higher profit margin for money making, rather than stick to Srila Prabhupada's instruction to only distribute his books. As a matter of fact, during Prabhupada's manifested presence in Germany, one leader started to distribute Prabhupada's records. When Prabhupada heard about it, he says, no, do not distribute my record, distribute my books. Now, all three of these activities were compromised when people started to change the books, distribute nonsense gimmicks, and give political classes instead of seriously studying the book. Because I've been criticized by some people, not many. You spend too much time with the Sanskrit, the word for word, and chanting all these mantras. Well, where do you think I got this idea from? I grew up in Canada. I didn't grow up studying Sanskrit. Although I was studying the Vedas when I was 14 years old from a Sanskrit academy in Paris, France, in French. But I didn't understand anything. But I didn't have technical Sanskrit learning. I was not born in a Brahmin family. Why do I do this? Where did I get this idea? Because Prabhupada directly, personally instructed me and told me, this is how you should preach. This is how to teach devotees and children how to understand my books. The word for word, chant some eulogies, some shlokas, study carefully every statement in Prabhupada's books. Now, people may criticize. I've received that instruction, and I do know that Vishwakarma Prabhu and many other persons have received those instructions. As a matter of fact, in 1982, when I met Vishwakarma Prabhu in Toronto, he told me a story that he may not remember, but I remember it. After he had acquired the temple there in Toronto, Prabhupada told him, please do not turn this temple into a Haribol Sampradaya. And Vishwakarma Prabhu told Prabhupada, what is a Haribol Sampradaya? Prabhupada says, in India, they have these different Vaishnavas, especially in Bengal. They'll chant Haribol, Haribol, but they don't study the Shastra. So you have to, along with the worship, with the chanting of Haribol, you have to study the Shastra, study my books. Because if you do not study the books, eventually the Haribol will stop, or some nonsense Sahaja idea will come. And this is exactly what we're seeing. Yesterday, I had another event where one devotee sent me another one of these YouTube videos with some fancy dancing, fancy dresses. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, this is not the way that Prabhupada introduced how we should dance in front of the deities. Some of these mantras were not introduced by Srila Prabhupada. Why not stick to the instruction that Prabhupada has given? That is the secret of success. I hope it helps. Hare Krishna.
Yes, it does help. And thank you. And thank you, Nilesh, for your question. We do really appreciate it. We've come to 11:48 already, unfortunately. I wanted to just further give a quick response to you, Nilesh Prabhu, that why is it that some people are carrying on with devotional service with a proper understanding and some aren't? And Prabhupada explains it's up to the capacity of each individual. Your past life, what you did in the past, Nilesh, and what you're doing in the present, that will determine your ability to understand the truth when you hear it. It's your capacity. It's a talent. There's an opportunity for us. It's a talent. Just like some people are expert in a particular field. Why is it that they're expert? Because they're blessed with that capacity by the grace of the Lord. So all of us, this is a science. You're a scientist already in your field of dental work. A scientist, you study the science. You've got detailed ability to understand the science of how to work with that. And so some of us are blessed with the capacity to do this from past life, yes, and from our current activities, like we chant religiously every day, our rounds. We do. It's not a fake. People, I have my own witnesses that can testify in court. Vishwakarma Das does chant his rounds every day. So that's why we always encourage all of us to do that, because this formula of devotional service is the method for the mystery of spiritual life to be revealed to the sincere practitioner. If you don't do it, that's your business. Nobody's going to go to your house and walk around with you and see if you are chanting or how you do. It's up to you. This is a personal relationship between yourself, the spiritual master, and Paramatma in your heart. Because the Paramatma exists here. We read it, but do we understand it? Well, it is manifested to those who follow this process. So thank you. Nilesh, I know you're dying. Panchagoda, we'll go for a quick, please, Prabhus, just a comment. Go ahead, Nilesh, and then Panchagoda, please. Nilesh, start.
Hare Krishna. So listening to you and Yashodanand Prabhu is that we are all conditioned souls. We were all blessed with the mercy by Krishna to be exposed to Srila Prabhupada, but
Yes.
it is our sincerity within ourselves which will determine our future. Because our prarabdha was there, because that is why we were exposed to Prabhupada. Imagine being able to host Prabhupada like this person, Paul, inadvertently he hosted Srila Prabhupada. He did not follow the other instructions, but this person, Paul, also has been blessed that, hey, you were able to host the pure devotee of the Lord. Now that Sukriti will go somewhere. There is no
Yes.
doubt about that. Okay. But the question is, the inner part is that did we get a chance to really discover, and it is all an individual person's practice, is that we are all given this mercy, but it is our individual. And even this Prabhu from San Diego, I keep forgetting his name, from
Krishna
San Diego,
Katha.
Krishna
Krishna-
Katha Prabhu, he also says that it is the personal desire which talks about it, which he's talking about in the chat. So the conditions will be the same. It's just like two sons born to the same father. Both are given the same opportunities. One does accomplish a lot while the other does not accomplish a lot, because what does he do with those opportunities? The desire from within, which is most important. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Panchagoda Prabhu, please. I think you put your hand up.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for the program. Very inspiring and everything. And grateful for technologies that it's possible to use even driving somewhere. So here in the country with a war, we have quite difficult conditions. But anyhow, today I met one devotee and he sent me some information. And I want to ask our senior devotees about this. He told when the so-called gurus, they started to fall, like many of them, then Ravindra Svarupa Maharaj, he gathered the GBC and told that the conclusion, that the exit from the situation is that we have to ask everyone to take the responsibility, all the gurus, to take the disciples. So I wanted to ask our senior devotees, maybe you comment on this, because this is very controversial for me. Thank you.
We'll let Yashoda give a quick response. Did you follow the question, Prabhu?
It's not quite clear exactly where he was leading with that question, because ultimately the whole system that they have developed was based on an unauthorized assumption that these conversations with Srila Prabhupada in 1977 meant that they were being appointed as Diksha Gurus or initiating acharyas. And on the basis of that misunderstanding, along with covering up discussion, preventing discussion, not releasing the conversation, it was basically, it evolved into a very messy situation, and it was a disaster for many devotees, because many devotees were kicked out or driven away from ISKCON because the leadership, well, you're not being a team player, you're not accepting Srila Prabhupada's appointment or alleged appointment of these successors, therefore you have to go, you're kicked out. It's like one of these leaders in 1978 told the Gurukul teacher, when the Gurukul teacher mentioned that many devotees were concerned about the way that whole system was being introduced. And that person said, well, let these disciples all leave. Let them all leave. We've got our own disciples now. Because the whole thing was a falsehood. Prabhupada never appointed any of his disciples, whether it was 11, 111, or 11 million disciples, as Diksha Gurus. He only nominated in the capacity of Ritvik representative to initiate on behalf of Prabhupada, where the disciples would be Srila Prabhupada's disciples. What did they do? They took over ISKCON, illegally divided the assets, claimed false proprietorship over the temples and the assets, and then started to remove these disciples because they're on the basis of that falsehood and fabrication. As a matter of fact, for record, on the 3rd of December, 1980 in Topanga Canyon, California, the mastermind and chief strategist of that nonsense idea of appointment admitted when he was removed from his position for preaching that no one could understand Prabhupada except through him, like a modern day Lord Jesus Christ. And he admitted this idea that Prabhupada appointed gurus is a myth. ISKCON is still living in mythology. It's a falsehood. Then in 1986, when they tried to reform ISKCON, they invented another mythology, a guru by vote, a guru by appointment. That's Prabhupada nowhere described this. The only thing Prabhupada has ever described is people would be trained, pass an examination, and unfortunately, during Prabhupada's manifested presence, that was never factually introduced, but that was the only thing that he mentioned, not this voting system or electing system, which is political nonsense. But anyway, we've already said many times that we would discuss this basically in the future, but I think that because there's many related topics involved with this. For example, what is the disciplic succession? How does one connect with the disciplic succession? Is it merely a physical thing? Is it like an electrical current or something? How about those disciples who never met Prabhupada and Prabhupada accepted them as his disciples? They didn't live for 6 months with Prabhupada. How were they disciples? Another thing, Prabhupada is in Calcutta, and these people talk about karma. It's so important to have, well, if Prabhupada is in Calcutta, he's giving permission to initiate somebody who's in London. How does the karma get purified? What do the Shastras say? What does Jiva Goswami say in the Bhakti Sandarbha? How does the karma become purified? These are all questions which should have been discussed right then before they started this show bottle circus that they have. I once asked an ISKCON guru, you say you have thousands of disciples. Prabhupada made thousands of disciples. What did you do with those disciples that he put under your care, under your management? Oh, he said, I don't have time to discuss this. I got to go give a lecture. Well, you better find the time, because 46 years later, devotees are still asking questions, and they're not getting too many answers from that group. After all, what can you expect from those who claim that they have seen the truth? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for being a part of a very detailed explanation of the truth and the truth of the matter for everyone's inspiration and enlivenment. You know, it's a blissful experience to have this opportunity. And thank you, everyone. We'll be back next Thursday. Now, please mark that down. It's Thursday evening, no longer Wednesday. We've had a slight decline in our attendance, and we understand, you know, sometimes schedules are different and responsibilities are there. But nonetheless, we'll carry on with the programs, because we do post all of the programs in our online YouTube channel, Hare Krishna Society. And these last few weeks, we've been getting a very big response from people. Seems to be proliferating, and people are interested in the things that we're presenting. So share this information with people that you know and invite them to come along. We do want other God brothers and God sisters to join us in our panel discussion. We're not restricting that outside of the fact that we have different rules in terms of participation, so there is no, you know, trouble online to have this type of open forum to explain the philosophy to everyone. So thank you again. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Yashodanandana Prabhu, please.
One very quick comment. I want to thank very much Pierangelo Prabhu with the beautiful picture of Lord Damodar behind his head. And Ruchisa Mataji, she has again a picture of Mother Yashoda chasing Lord Krishna. I'm convinced a lot of times, I don't think these are just pictures. These are manifestations from their heart, their pure hearts, and it's manifested behind their heads. Hare Krishna. Let's go on with the kirtan.
Yes, please. Prabhu, if you could put up the chanting. It's for 2.5 minutes, everyone, so chant along. And a quick closing after that, so you can see all the devotees that are involved with us. All glories to the Sankirtan movement.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Let us offer our respectful and humble obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances. We all offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks everybody for participating. Thanks Vishwakarma Prabhu in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and our good friend in Bombay, India, Bhakta Rupesh Prabhu, who will soon be initiated. Rochisa Mataji in Montreal, Canada, Pier Angelo in wherever you are, Prabhu, we don't know. So where are you?
I live in Geneva, Switzerland.
Oh, Switzerland. Very nice, very nice. And all the
Yeah.
devotees participating. And Vijay Pandit Prabhu, Bhakta Zoran, Bhakta Chaturbhuja Prabhu, Mataji. Thank you so much. Grazie, grazie, Italia Bhakta. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We invite everybody to come on Thursday for Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita reading at 5:00 p.m. Pacific time, corresponding to 8:00 p.m. Miami, Florida time, and Hamilton, Ontario time. And as always, thank you very much to Neil Shyama Prabhu and always his pertinent questions by Ronald Singh in Nepal, India, who will soon hopefully be coming back to California, and everybody who participated in the program. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.